We good. So what's this video called?
That's usually my question.
Oh. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna skip the intro for today. Like, I don't gotta introduce myself. My name's Thomas and welcome back to the channel. Make style and hair related videos every single week, so make sure you hit the subscribe button if that's your kind of thing. And in today's video, we're gonna be talking about keratin treatments and taking a deep dive on what they are and all of the things that I get asked about them, because I thought I answered all of these questions when I did the keratin video where I actually went into the salon and got it done. But it's apparent that I keep getting questions coming up about keratin treatments, and yeah, I just wanted to go through from A to Z. I've listed the main questions that get asked about this, and we're going to cover them all today. We've got things like, do keratin treatments cause cancer? We've got things like, do keratin treatments permanently straighten your hair? We've got, how long does a keratin treatment last? We've got, how much does a keratin treatment cost? We've also got, do they cause hair loss, and do they cause damage? These are all things that I didn't really take into account before I did the video, so I have answered some of the questions in the video, but I thought doing a full thing like this would be handy for anybody out there that's considering one. I also, while I'm here, I'm gonna put, who is a keratin treatment for? All right, so where do we break down first? I think, where do we break down when there's too many things to do and I don't know how to sort it out? That's where we break down. All right, pull it together. So I guess I will be answering who these are for first. Like, I think that's probably the most important question. But essentially, like, just to sum it up, a keratin treatment is great for anybody who struggles with frizz. If you struggle with frizz, you'll definitely know, because as soon as the weather gets humid or, you know, your hair gets a bit dry, you'll just get this big... And I always say this in any blog posts I write about keratin treatments or curly hair, because the hair cuticles on the outside of the hair, they're actually expanding like that. They work like pores of the skin. And when a pore heats up or it gets more moisture, it opens and sweat comes out. Your hair is the same, so it's not exactly like a hole in the hair, it's actually like a flake, like a scale, like this. And when the humidity comes along, it goes... And that's why your hair goes poing. Now, people with straighter hair will, you know, experience less frizz, but that doesn't mean a keratin treatment can't help work for that. And people with really curly hair, like my normal hair, and really frizzy and coarse, it helps that as well, because those cuticles are always really open. So I guess in essence, like, yeah, the basic form of who a keratin treatment is for those people with frizz. If you don't struggle with frizz, you probably won't need to like worry about it. If you have really short hair as well, you probably notice less frizziness, so it's not something that you really need, but in essence, it just helps defrizz, and that is like a big problem of mine. So the next most common question that I get about keratin treatments is, do they permanently straighten hair? The short answer of this is no. All they do is relax the curl. So if you've got really curly hair like what I have, my hair is really, really tight. So after having a keratin treatment, because the keratin smooths over those cuticles that I was just talking about, it actually relaxes the curl. So instead of them being really like tight and bouncy like this, they kind of like relax down. And depending on how long you have the treatment on for, will depend how much that curl drops. So with the keratin treatment that I got, it was the Behave XT keratin treatment, and you can have it on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or 1 hour, and each different stage will reduce the curl in your hair a lot. Now, the most recent keratin treatment I had, I went for the hour session, so my curl decreased quite a bit, and I actually ended up with a wave instead of having real curls. Now, that type of hair suits me better, but if you're somebody that still wants quite a bit of curl, you might be better off going with just the half an hour treatment. So you can still reduce the frizz, but keep the curl. Do you know what I mean? So no, they do not permanently straighten your hair. I think the misconception of like it permanently straightening comes from the dramatic difference that it does make. So yes, after having it on for an hour, my hair is significantly straighter than it was before, but it's not permanently straight. Well, for one, it's not straight, it then becomes wavy, and also it wears off after a while. With a chemical straighten, you are literally breaking the bonds of those cuticles, and there's no way for it to return. Like the chemicals in that actually trash your hair and damage it. With keratin, it's just relaxing it, and then over a 3 to 4 month period, that keratin wears off and your hair goes back to its natural state. The next one on the list is, how much does a keratin treatment cost? So the actual question that I got about this was, how much does it cost in US dollars? That I can't be certain because I've never had a keratin treatment in the US, but here in Australia, a keratin treatment like what I had could cost you anywhere from $250 to $400. They're quite an expensive treatment, but if you think about the amount of time that it lasts for and the amount of time that it saves you in the mirror, if you calculated all of that time and put a money value on it like you do with your job, it's actually very, very worth it because it makes your hair so much more manageable, and I would recommend it to anybody that struggles with frizz. In terms of like what it costs in a US dollar, I mean, you could just go and do a calculation of currency. So 250 to 400, how much does that equal in American? I think $400, like the max price, equals about like $300 in the US. So it can still be quite expensive, but well worth it in my opinion. Oh, just while I'm here as well, so you guys know, or you might know, El Rubio from the long hairs. So he doesn't have curly hair at all, but we've been talking a little bit at the moment. We're doing some collaborations on stuff, and he mentioned that he gets a keratin treatment twice a year. Now, even though he doesn't have curly hair, he still sees benefit from it, and I'm guessing that's because he probably experiences frizz as well, because he lives in California and it's stinking hot. I know he gets them. Maybe you could like sling him a question of how much it costs him to get it done. I know he gets it done twice a year to keep his hair at bay though. We've been talking. Okay, so I know I mentioned earlier that keratin treatments wear off after a certain period, but another question is like, how long does it last? And to be honest, like it can last anywhere from 2 to 4 months. The reason for that is because the maintenance that you do on it really matters. So if you're washing your hair with a shampoo that has sulfate in it, your keratin treatment's going to wear off quicker. And if you use one that doesn't, it'll stay for longer. And it just depends on the compatibility and what you're doing. That will depend on how quickly it wears off. A lot of beach goers, like if you love going to the beach, you'll notice that your keratin treatment wears off a lot quicker. So you got to like take that into consideration when you go and get it. But on average, they just say 2 to 4 months is like a good amount of time for it to last. For me, I thought I would be able to wait for the 4 months before I got another one, except I got to month 3 and then I went, no, my normal hair's coming back. I think we're going to switch it up and go and get another one. So every person's different. So the next question on the list is, do keratin treatments cause cancer? This is a big one that people type into Google. This is a big one that people like stress about. Just like sugar-free drinks, just like smoking cigarettes, everything can give you bloody cancer, you know what I mean? Even now, like opening a plastic bottle that's got BPA in it, they go, that can give you cancer. Anyway, with keratin treatments and the link to cancer, in the beginning when these keratin treatments came out, there was a chemical that was being used in them called formaldehyde. So yeah, there was multiple cases of clients and hairdressers getting cancer caused from formaldehyde that was in the keratin treatments. It makes sense. If clients are getting keratin treatments all the time, they're always around the chemical. Hairdressers are putting the treatment on. They're even more susceptible to getting the cancer from the chemical. But once they figured out it was the formaldehyde, then it's been regulated that you have to take formaldehyde out of them, at least here in Australia. So Behave as well, like they've got their XT keratin treatment. All of their keratin treatments are formaldehyde free, which is good. So I don't have to worry about that. But it's just about knowledge, you know what I mean? Like if you do a bit of research and find out, instead of like having an opinion of like, that gives you cancer. No, do your research and you can find out like what it actually is. So I've done my research and I'm more than happy with keratin treatments, and I don't have a stress that I'm going to get cancer from it because I've done my research. The data doesn't lie. Okay, so I hope that clears that up. If you've been worried about getting cancer from a keratin treatment, stress less. Just make sure you trust the hairdresser that's doing it, because if they do a shitty job, it won't look good. And if the treatment they're using does have formaldehyde, you want to get the hell out of there. Okay? So just check the product and make sure you trust the hairdresser. That's all I would say. All right, the next one on the list is, do keratin treatments cause hair loss? So no. Well, again, going back to the data and things I've read and all my research and my own experience with having it, no, I have not experienced an excess of hair loss. Although I was in the dentist, a month ago, getting my gold tooth put on, and the dentist that was actually putting my crown on, she said that her sister got a keratin treatment and it all made it fall out. Now, the only reason I can think of that happening is because the hairdresser either didn't apply the treatment properly, or they completely killed their hair, or their hair type just wasn't able to sustain the treatment. There's multiple things that could happen. However, in my experience, no, they do not cause hair loss. I do not have any less hair after getting a keratin treatment, and my hair certainly did not fall out. And I honestly put it back to trusting your hairdresser, knowing that they're going to do it properly, because like keratin treatments, you can't just buy them from a supermarket. You can't buy a keratin treatment and do it at home. They're a proper process that needs to happen, and a professional needs to do it. The products are only available for salons to buy anyway, and if a professional that doesn't know what they're doing has it in their hands, they can seriously fuck it up, which I'm guessing is why people have had hair loss problems. It's because it hasn't been done properly, and it's very tedious to get done. It takes ages. Alrighty, and for the final question. So the final question is, do keratin treatments cause damage? To my understanding and in my research, no, they do not. They are totally opposite to something like a chemical straighten. They relax the hair bond. They don't break it. Chemical straightens break the bonds. Keratin treatments relax it and wear off after time, returning the hair to its natural state. The only place that I can see damage occurring with something like this is the straightening after to set the treatment, right? So even going to the hairdresser as a rule of thumb, if they straighten your hair, they're risking damaging it. Same with the keratin treatment. When they put the keratin on, they need to seal it by straightening it. So yes, a straightener can be dangerous for hair. So that's the only real way that I can see it causing any damage to someone's hair. Other than that, the hair returns back to its normal state after 3 to 4 months or whenever your keratin treatment wears off. And for me, I don't feel like my hair's any more damaged than it was when I got the first one done. So yeah, that's in my experience as well and in my research. Alrighty guys, so that is pretty much everything. With my keratin treatment, it's starting to wear off. I'm actually so sad about it. It's starting to get a little bit more fluffy. I did straighten my hair for this set of videos just because I wanted it to look a little bit nicer and slicker, and I wanted to wear it out and show it off to you guys. But yeah, the keratin treatment is wearing off, and I think I'm going to be due for another one. I'm kind of addicted to it. If you haven't watched my keratin video where I actually went into the salon and got it done, it was a really fun video that we did up. Very informative, and I think paired with this one, it can show you what the keratin treatment does, in the flesh, and it can also give you all the details that you need to know before you go and get one. So I hope you found it really helpful and educational. It's a fun thing to get into, and expensive, but honestly, for the amount of time I save on doing my hair, and it actually gives me a little bit more confidence. I go, cool, I can, if I want to do that hairstyle, I can. I don't have to sit here for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Straightening it becomes easier. I can wear it curly without freaking out. I'm all for it. I love it. And that's all I have for you. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And if you have had a keratin treatment before, what brand do you use? Is there formaldehyde in the one that you're using? Go and do your research. And what were your thoughts of the results on a keratin treatment? That'd be interesting to know. And if you have any more questions that I did miss, we might have to do a 2.0 of this, and I can answer more, but I feel like I've covered everything that I've seen on my channel and reporting back on the data. So enjoy your week. God, that's good.